Okay, so my name is Bill Buchanan, and I have a passion for cryptography and digital trust. And so I'm so happy to have Aysegul Sensoy with me today. Hi,
Hi, Bill. How are you?
very good. Uh, Aysegul has over 20 years of management experience in blockchain, emerging technologies, fintech, business development, marketing, and sales. She's currently the chair of the Istanbul Blockchain Women Association and CIS Regional Manager of Fuze Finance. She received her bachelor's degree in economics from Istanbul University and her master's degree in marketing communication management from Galatasaray University, as well as getting an executive MBA. So, what were your school days like and what subjects did you enjoy at school?
Yeah, when you are just counting one by one, I feel like I'm 100 years old. However, it's not that long, actually. I graduated from economics, as you said, and during my school days, I was around, just like all the other my young friends, I was around 18 years old. So I really don't have future plans, long-term future plans, actually. Why I chose economics in the first place? I think I wasn't thinking back that time, but when I'm thinking in this age right now, it gives me a broader area to choose about my life. For example, if I become an engineer, if I studied engineer or let's say medicine, you become an engineer, right? But in economics or in business MBA departments, you can choose whatever you want to be. But after two or um, 3 years, I realized that I really don't want to be a traditional white collar person. So I decided not to be a finance person or a banker either. So then I continue my education into marketing and also executive MBA. These were during my working times. So economics was just the start, but then I choose my own way on the way.
Hmm, yeah. Okay, so you have a strong business side, and many engineers and technical people really don't have that, and obviously you're trying to fuse the two together. And so, what motivated you to get into cryptography and blockchain?
Uh, After spending so many years in the traditional real sector businesses, I realized that there are some challenges in the real sector, right? So first of all, there were significant upfront investment needed to be done in the real sector. And there are so many external factors that you cannot change when you are working in the traditional business. Like there are rules have been made and there for so many years. And I was looking for something else, but I don't know about technology at all. I don't know anything about technology. Then a friend of mine called me and tell me that we have a startup. What is a startup? It's a tech startup and it's a blockchain based startup giving some services or promising to give some services to financial industry. To be honest, I didn't even know what blockchain was, and I think this was the first time in my life I heard about blockchain. Then I searched what this blockchain is. I accepted their offer. I just quit my traditional life and jumped into the tech sector. It was totally different. The dynamics are different. People around me are different. I jumped into the tech sector. Then I started to learn what this technology, cryptography, blockchain was. And as much as I learned, I was amazed by the blockchain philosophy. It's not any other tech development in the world. It's something that offers in a very amazed way that not only to change the world, but create a better world. So after learning more and more about cryptography and blockchain, I decided to spend my life into this technology.
That's great. Okay, so for the less technical listeners, can you give us an outline of what's involved in blockchain and distributed ledger technology?
I am also not coming from a technical background. However, for around 6, 7 years, I'm working with tech people mostly. 90% of my colleagues are tech people. So I also am very happy to learn how to interact with them. Okay, so it is also very important for non-tech people, because I feel like in the first place we are speaking different languages, but after some time when you get used to it, then this gap just gets narrower, so you understand what they are talking, they understand what you are talking. So it's all about when we get back to the blockchain, and let me try to refine what blockchain is on my own words. I think the world operates on records. We have records all over the place, right? We have records of the transactions, records of the agreements, even records of the history. And whatever we do in life, we are relying on these records. Till now, there is a way of recording things. There is central databases or governments or banks who are keeping these records in a particular way. However, with the help of science and technology, blockchain offers an alternative way of keeping these records, which is more equal, decentralized, cryptographically secure, and all based on science. So this is the most basic I can explain distributed ledger technologies or blockchain. So this is an alternative way for whatever we have believed till now.
That's great, yeah. So it really just increases the trust level in all the transactions that we have, and goes back to the days when banks used to have ledgers, and each company would tally up a ledger, and at the end of the day, you would actually know how much money had gone in and that tally had gone out. That's great. So, what does your role involve with Istanbul Blockchain, and what's the main purpose of that organization?
Yeah, let me get back to 5, 6 years ago when I first entered in this industry. We were attending some events internationally or locally, right? And because before I was working in the traditional industry and mostly in the managerial departments or marketing, some kind of things, I didn't realize that there is a gender gap, right? There's the gender equality was always okay. There are always like women and men in the salon wherever I go. But when I get in the tech industry, I realized that there is something weird about this, right? It's not only about Turkey, but wherever I go, I see like thousands of men and like very few women in the salon. And I was like, why? Because there's you don't have to be a man to get into this industry, just like I did. Uh, Thanks to God, I met with some women who think like me and think that there is a problem. We come together and we created this association to empower women in the blockchain industry. It's a non-profit organization. We don't only work with women only, but what we are trying to do is we are trying to generate gender equality in the tech sector, especially in the blockchain industry. We are dedicated to empowering women in the blockchain ecosystem. How we do this? We focus on social responsibility projects. We encourage women, and we are trying to do some meaningful and also some real impact initiatives, right? We don't only just increase the awareness of blockchain, but we also train people. We also create networks. We make people believe that this is not an industry that you should be afraid of. You just need to jump in, just talk to people like you, and it's very welcoming. I think we are in the beginning phases of blockchain technology also. It's a very new technology, right? Comparing to the other emerging technologies. Uh, if you can get your seats now, because today is the day, then you can create your own career or own life into this industry. This is what we are trying to do in Istanbul Blockchain Movement, more or less.
That's great. Well done. Excellent. And all the best for that. So, is Istanbul in Turkey a good place for blockchain digital trust companies to be based?
Yeah, we have been famous for so many other things, not crypto 5 years ago, but now I think Turkey is become most famous place for blockchain and crypto in the worldwide actually. So we are the strongest blockchain hubs in the world, and I can back up this with some data, which is in the grown-ups, 99% of the population, they recognize crypto and blockchain. So it's a huge number, and around 30% of this population is engaging crypto. We have more than 10 million plus single crypto wallet holders. So I know that blockchain is not only crypto, but it starts it starts with crypto, right? It's very famous. So we are number one in Europe, volume wise, number three in the worldwide. So it already become a blockchain hub. When you just jump into Turkey, in the first step, you see all around the crypto exchange ads in the television, on the ground, everywhere. And we have a huge young population, which is tech-navy population. They born in tech. Because of the economic situation, young population, we are very keen in crypto, blockchain, and these technologies. First, people start trading with crypto, then they wonder what this crypto is, what this blockchain is. So I think it's one of the best places in the world as a blockchain hub, I may say.
That's great. And I think you've got a blockchain week coming up in June sometime. So that'll be great to see all the companies from around the world come to see Istanbul and Turkey. So all the best with that. So I think you were the co-founder of SOS Chain initiative. Can you outline its purpose and how it will evolve into the future?
Of course, while we are working during life, we sometimes pass the things that we shall not pass, which is giving back is also quite important, right? We are only taking from life. And also when you have a tool like technology, you have a great chance to give back. So what we have been thinking with some of my friends is technology can change so many things in social economy, in social responsibility projects. So we created this initiative as SOS Chain. It is a fully on-chain parametric fundraising platform designed for charitable causes. So the goal is to revolutionize the disaster relief and humanitarian aid. We realize that the social economy is not digitized at all. So, and there is a big gap between new technologies and NGOs. We would like to just cover this gap with creating a platform where those NGOs can fundraise on crypto, and they can do this without feeling blockchain, without feeling the complexity. And also there is a big wealth happened in crypto world, and those people wants to donate in crypto, but there is no such tool. So we created this initiative. So especially for the humanitarian aid and also disasters, not only with SOS Chain, but also the crypto community, we were able to raise 12.5 million US dollars during the earthquake in Turkey. So it really worked, and it really created a big difference in such unexpected cases.
Yeah, that's wonderful that you actually did that. That's really amazing work, and obviously we're moving towards a cashless society. So if people want to give things to good causes, then it can actually be quite difficult. And I think obviously cryptocurrency is one way to cut out the middle. I'll call it middle person in there, because there are so many people that will take a cut of aid that will go to other countries and so on. So I think the idea of cryptocurrencies is that you get the funds straight to where it's actually needed. So well done with that. And I think you're also the co-founder of FairShare. Can you outline that application and what it aims to address?
Sure, definitely agree what you just said. The middleman, especially in such cases, is getting so much share, which you cannot create real impact in the end, right? There is a statistic saying that if you donate $100 to a small girl in Africa, this $100 only if I'm not mistaken, only $10 to $15 just goes directly to this poor people. And come on, like 80% we are losing in the middleman. Technology is really the thing to solve this. Just like SOS Chain, we also created another initiative, especially for the for the people who has ethical and religious principles. So it's a ethical donations for Islamic community. It mainly aims the bankless society because there is a huge bankless society in the world. And what we are trying to do is there's some mechanisms in the Islam like Zakat. It really works very perfect and with smart contract actually in ideally. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a digital Zakat mechanism so people can donate in to right people to the right time and they can follow their donations. So this is mostly mainly focused on the society who doesn't have access to not only cryptocurrencies but also for the ethical donations.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, there's so many people in the world who are unbanked. We have this Western viewpoint that everybody has a bank account at the age of 16 or so. Everybody gets a bank account, and you can get a mortgage and things like that. But there are so many people who don't trust the banking system for one, and I think that's a major challenge across the world is to try and make sure that people can have equal rights to funds and don't necessarily have to go through traditional banks to do that. So, if there's one killer app for digital trust blockchain, what do you think it would be?
It's a tough question,
Yeah.
right? We also
Well,
think
you would be a billionaire if you could answer this correctly.
there was also many researches from these big companies
Mm.
made about blockchain years ago, and like 90% of these assumptions went wrong, right? So we don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna come next. But if you ask me, like I've been in the industry almost more than 8 years, um, I've seen that during this time, the famous part of the blockchain, the famous child of blockchain, crypto never changed, and it already become a legend. So, blockchain is the technology for the listeners who doesn't know much about blockchain. Blockchain is the technology, and all the items like cryptocurrencies, tokenized items are the product of this technology, right? So the first child is cryptocurrencies, and I think they will stay. They will evolve. We will see more cryptocurrencies, but they will evolve. But I think the key is for blockchain is the interoperability. We always have been talking about interoperability of the blockchains, right? When blockchains can work together, they will create bigger impact. But I'm not only talking about the working together the blockchains. I'm also talking about interoperability of the technologies. When AI comes into blockchain, right? When the other technologies comes into blockchain when they combine and create a huge impact. Uh, the finance is now leading the race in the blockchain industry, but I think in the upcoming phases we will see more real life use cases like the tokenization. Tokenization is I think will be a game changer, but we need more participation from other parties, like regulation is also very important, and real sector participation is also very important. But I think we will not see blockchain on the front end. Blockchain is will be the base where we will use blockchain almost in all app, but we don't see that. It's an invisible hand, not like Adam Smith, but in the invisible hand, working on the back end, and we are using this technology all over. It's like cell in our blood, so we will see blockchain. It's not a one app, but blockchain will still remains, I believe.
Yeah. And so you're starting to see the evolution of a legal infrastructure and the regulation, and that's really important to protect the citizen, but it's also important to be able to grow your economy and bring companies in and for those companies to feel safe. In Scotland just now, we're looking at Scots law. I don't know if you know, but Scots law is different from UK law, and I think we're looking to define crypto assets as property. So for the first time, you now have a legal certainty that if I own a crypto asset, say for a house, it can be seen as property. So you can see the evolution happening and it becoming just a normal part of our economy. And certainly once we move to the tokenization economy, then we should be able to see less friction. The EU, for example, wants to see less friction across borders and so on. They want people to move across borders. I think that's really where this whole tokenization economy will come in. So, what's the barriers in the existing market to the adoption of digital trust and blockchain methods?
Yeah, Bill, when you were summarizing what I was trying to say, I realized that we were a bunch of people a couple years ago trying to defend blockchain and its solutions or this technology. And now it's no more doubt for any industry that blockchain will remain or not, right? So it has evolved. Now there is a big fact here, but it took some time and it took longer than expected. Also in Turkey, we just received the regulation, but it took so long, 3, 4 years. We have been waiting for regulation. Why regulation is important? For the mass adoption, for people can comfortably get into this industry, use this asset just like the others. Not only the tech guys or DGens are using it, but also everybody. So what are the barriers for EU is, I think the nature of EU is slower than the emerging countries, right? I know that they are doing it right. They are trying to doing in a perfect way, but comparing to the evolution of the technology, uh, digital trust and blockchain and all these rules are getting too much time. But world is moving. So I believe the coordination between public and private sectors and government and rule makers should be more tight. The government should listen more to the industry. It's not something that blockchain would like to destroy the financial system. Nothing will remain the same. There will be always a banking system, but not the banking as it is right now. It's changing. So I think the highest barrier is to change the minds and beliefs that we have always told or taught. And the second thing is to motivate the caste system in the existing traditional industry is too tough. It's not easy for a startup or for a brilliant mind to get into this system, to tell your ideas, to share your ideas. It's always quite hard for you to find a seat for yourself on this table, even you have a great idea. So it won't change in a day, but I believe with the help of network and if we can help each other, we can also create our own power.
Yeah, I agree. And when you look at it, what you need is great technical people with ideas, innovators. They are not necessarily the C-level executives of the future, the CTOs and the CEO, but they could be. And what you typically need is to have someone who's really experienced in business, who knows how to start up a company. And perhaps the CEO of a startup isn't the CEO of your big company. Those are different types of people. And we see a CEO of a new startup or a spin out getting involved for a year or two, growing the company, and then maybe moving to another startup company. There are certain people who like that excitement.
Exactly. It's
Uh,
the nature of the entrepreneurship, right?
yeah,
We are not like I've seen brilliant people, brilliant minds. They just don't want to stay on this chair for a long time. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel comfortable in their comfort zone. This is how they become this amazing people, amazing companies.
yeah. They're builders, and that's a different type of person who's somebody who takes on a company that has a solid foundation and must meet the market conditions and needs more sales and marketing and so on. So I think we need more of those early start entrepreneurs who are willing to take that risk and they could become very wealthy. I mean, that is one of the exciting things that we want to attract people into the industry to say you could be the next Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or someone like that. So I think it's very important, and you are creating that ecosystem that allows that to happen. And I think sometimes we silo our communities, like cryptographers only talk to cryptographers and they have conferences, and technical blockchain people only talk in their own space. I think we need more spaces to be able to collaborate and to build partnerships up.
Okay.
So, yep. So you're the co-investigator for the Trust4Futures project, and which is an EU digital funded project which develops deep tech skills within digital trust. So, what's your vision for that project, and how could it grow into the future?
What's our vision, right? We are building this idea together, and hopefully we will reach thousands of people, maybe 10,000s of people in the upcoming future. When we first started, our goal is to actually not create another training program. It was not like that. There are hundreds of thousands of training program all over the world where you can just search online and go. But our goal is to ignite the spark actually. So from the first day, we try to create a highly refined, focused, measurable initiative where people can come here, get this course, interact each other, and from elite experts, very elite experts like you, Bill, and it's always not easy for everybody to reach out those education, right? It's not only watching from a YouTube. It's something that you get these courses, then you do some practices, you get very insightful information from experts from the industry, and in the end it's gonna take we will have 8 modules. It's gonna take quite some time, but in the end we are trying to teach you how to use technology tool for yourself. So it's just a start on our side. It's just to shine your star and get to know cybersecurity and blockchain. And not only as an introduction, but also some deep dive into those applications, right?
Yeah,
So well, I'm very excited of this project actually. I have so much to say, but I'm very excited
yeah,
of this
yeah.
project.
Yeah. So, as part of the Trust for Future project, we're hosting a joint conference in Edinburgh and
Mhm.
Istanbul, and with the aim of raising awareness and the advancement of skills in related areas, especially within the EU. I do think that conference and dissemination events are important in the advancement of digital trust. And which type of events would you like to see more of?
Uh, I think in our industry, events has a very important role. Uh, Even we learn so many things from computer or during online sessions, talking person to person, interacting person to person is the key to generate some real businesses. And in these events, it gives a great opportunity for those people, for builders, for engineers, for business developers, for marketing people, to see that what does those people really want or what they really are, right? And especially creating these events at the same time in Edinburgh and Istanbul means that there is only one world. We don't have borders. We are defending the same things, right? We are trying to democratize, just like blockchain. We are trying to democratize the knowledge for everybody. So it's very important for those people to know each other, get to know each other, to get insights from the experts right away, physically. And also, it's not going to be only one-time event. We started one time, but we are aiming to continue this event and this workshop. Uh, I think this has a very crucial role to create your own business, or at least to get a part of this blockchain industry or cybersecurity industry.
Yeah, and it's really where the EU works best and Europe works best that the countries want to work together. They want to build their economy together. They want to harmonize their systems. They want to allow freedom of movement, and they want companies to be based within the EU to grow the economy, and so on. So I think very much that openness to bring cities. Cities are very much a driver, and Istanbul is such an exciting city. Edinburgh is a very historical city, and obviously education is a core part of Edinburgh. And enterprise and innovation is also core in there. So hopefully we could spark a few collaborations that might become the great companies of the future. Because obviously it increases the market space that's possible if we can bring companies together and they can start to look at international markets. Especially to give a presentation, you never know who's in the audience. Someone comes up to you afterwards and say, yeah, I really think you're right. Or they could say, I think you're wrong, which is good. There's nothing wrong with
Right.
someone saying, I don't believe in what you've just said, and here's why. I think that's a really important element of conferences. And it's typically the bits that happen after the presentation, the networking, and so on, is the important part. So hopefully that event will actually tie the links between the two cities and spark this future innovation. So what do you think the next decade looks like for digital trust and blockchain? What are the key areas of innovation?
Yeah, before jumping to that, let me not forget and say that right after our conference, there will be Istanbul Blockchain Week, as you mentioned. So we will already be hosting so many blockchain experts in Istanbul. Istanbul is already become a hub for these events. Like we just had a Jupiter event, a huge event in Turkey. We had Cosmos, we had DevCon. Every year, so many international events happening in Istanbul, and I think our event will be one of those traditional international events also. Coming back to your question, it was about the digital trust and how it will evolve, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Uh, I think people are getting to know about what trust should be, what is a personal data is, how can we protect our own personal data. It was Web 1, Web 2, now we are in Web 3. I don't know Web 4, what Web 4 will look like. But now most of the people decided not to be a customer of these Web 2 giants anymore, right? We want to hold our own data. We just don't know yet how to protect this. So to create digital trust, it's starts with awareness. Now we are aware, at least what is going on in the world, how we become customers of this giant system and how we can change this. Blockchain, cybersecurity, digital trust, those technologies gives us an opportunity to at least change something if we want to. We can be so happy with whatever it is right now. We don't have to change anything. Everybody doesn't have to be heroes, right? Most of the people are so happy where they are. But the awareness and the knowing that you have this capability to do this is very important. And I think digital trust, and our aim is to define and teach people what digital trust is, gives this opportunity for a regular person, how you can proceed for your own life.
yeah. And so for Turkey, how do you think the economy will develop over the next decade or so? Do you see a rise in the technology industry there? And what could the government and the public sector do better to support this development? And probably the EU too.
Mhm, mhm. I think EU doesn't have one personality, right?
Mm.
Because like EU as a whole is we can talk, but like in each country in EU has like some different characters. And in Turkey, we have a very volatile economy, huge young population, still an emerging country, uh, but we are highly adapted to technology. 96 or 97% of the population has a mobile banking system. Everybody has mobile phones. Everybody is aware of the technology. We have a very highly developed financial system on the banking side. But Turkish lira is very volatile. And because of this, as I mentioned, the young population, they are looking for some alternative investment options, right? You cannot tell the same story as our fathers have been listening and following, that invest in those shares or invest in this company, because we didn't born um, in the decades where our fathers did. Now things have changed. Why meme coins and all these investment tools are very popular? We cannot just say that it's just the story and it will gone away, right? There is a reason behind this. People are born in the technology and they want to see what they have been told or learned. They want to invest what they feel, this vibe, this close thing. So I think the technology will be evolving Turkey, and blockchain-based technologies will have more space in Turkish economy. In EU, I think you will come after because the population is not as young as emerging countries. But I think at one point, world has to be aligned. Even with wars, even with humanitarian crisis, we see these blockages in the financial sector. People cannot use their banks, cannot use their money, couldn't use their paper money, cash money, right? So you have to have another system. So it's coming. Sometimes it's life pushes you to use this. Sometimes it comes by its origin, by itself, let's say.
Yeah. And you're starting to see traction. The EU are mandating the EID will happen across the EU. So we will now have a proper digital identity that we can actually use for services, for passports and things like that. That gives us a foundation to stop siloing data. And I think a big change is EIDAS 2. So with EIDAS 2, you can have a digital signature. It's not legally binding, but EIDAS 2 now makes that legally binding. So I think we'll start to see contracts implemented through digital signing on a European scale, and obviously for the legal industry to adapt to this digital world and move away from wet signatures.
Bill, I think I totally agree with you. But you are more technology defender than me, and you know that the capability of technology is not an issue, right? Technology can do many things right now. We can create blockchain-based voting systems. We can create blockchain-based or let's say cybersecurity very protected systems. It's bureaucracy and it's politics. It's not always about technology. The capability of the technology is far beyond than it is right now. It's just about the timing and politics.
Yeah. Yeah, and I suppose it's communication from technologists is very poor. We don't explain ourselves very well. I mean, why do you need a digital wallet? What's wrong with just having an app and so on? So I think we need more events that really communicate with the general public, citizens, to understand the risks and to design systems that are really fit. But certainly breaking down the silos in the public sector, allowing data to be used across different sectors, but allow citizens to have consent for their data must be core. And I think delegation is another thing that we've never really solved in technology, because many people, especially older people, will delegate their passwords and their digital things to someone else. So we need to understand how we work as a society and to try to model what we have in a digital way to make sure that everybody is protected. So I know that you have a core speciality in communications. What methods do you think innovative companies in digital trust and blockchain could use to improve their communications within the market?
You know that we have nowadays a big window of AI, and comparing to why I started with AI, I will explain. With comparing AI to blockchain, AI is in a more beneficial position, right? Because AI can express itself. We see the results right away when we use any AI tool in any of our daily life. However, technologies like blockchain, cybersecurity, digital trust based technologies, it's very hard to explain people what is it for and what is the output of this technology. When you start telling somebody who is not familiar with blockchain technology how blockchain works, it's already from the moment one they get confused. Okay, like ledger, but what's ledger? Why do I do with ledger? Blah. So I think when communicating these technologies for non-tech people, you need to underline what will the benefit for this person or for this entity, right? What will be the output? What will be the potential output? Instead of trying to teach them this technology, which they don't have to do nothing. For example, we have been using web for decades. I don't know how web works. I don't need to know. I just need to know what I'm going to use this web for. What will it change in my business life? Just like in these technologies, I think we need to focus on the pain points of businesses, pain point of people, and how these technologies can help. If you start communication from this point and telling them that I understand your pain and I'm here to solve, and this is how blockchain will solve your problems, I think it will be much helpful than trying to train people who has nothing to do with coding, with blockchain or anything else. And on the other side, for tech people, I know that it's also not easy for them while they are solving these complex problems to hear the murmuring of normal people or normal industries, because it's a capitalist world and people want to see results right away. Now, so I use blockchain, what? What's my benefit? It's not like that. The tech people needs to define the outputs in a midterm and long term and communicate in the right way. Because being simple is the hardest thing, right? Being simple is in blockchain is also very hard. This is what we are trying to do as a communication part of this industry.
Yeah. It's like the advice that we used to get when we wrote grant proposals. Write it for a 12-year-old child, a smart 12-year-old child. If you're using jargon and acronyms and so on, then a child will actually tell you that they don't actually understand it. So I think we need to communicate simpler, as you said, and it's more difficult, as you say, to talk about something simply than more complex. Most of our training as technologists and engineers are to use mathematics and so on. I think we need to abstract things more, draw diagrams, and just generally communicate and show our love and passion for the industry. I think that it always comes through as a teacher or a mentor, whether it's in your heart. You're not just doing this because it's a job that you're paid for, but you really do believe there's something there. And obviously in this industry, there was so many people who were doing it for the money and not actually because it was in their heart. So I think more and more we need to show that passion as you do. And so what advice would you give to new startups in the digital trust space that you've learned from your own career?
Uh, when I first started in the startup industry, I realized that there are, let's say, thousands of startups and 10,000s of mentors and advisors, and law offices, and consultant companies who are giving advice to startup companies, right? So please don't forget that there is always a very few people who are really building something. The rest is a big noise, and it's always hard to create something, to make it happen, make it to the life. And during your journey, you will hear so many noises, so many no's. Like I have been rejected so many times in my previous works when we are building this startup, and like so many no from everybody that at one point you decided if I'm doing something wrong, but you have to be sustainable, work hard, and listen to right people. It's not easy to find whom to listen, but it's always important to have right people around you. And those technologies are niche technologies. It's not something that you just issue a token and become a millionaire. Very few stories are like that. You have to work hard on the back end, learn hard because it's changing every day. Even you and me in this industry, we are learning every day. It's a never-ending learning process in startup industry. So of course, believe in yourself. Of course, believe in your product, but also be adaptive, right? Be ready to change because world is changing. You cannot stick to your idea or your product and just stay there for a long time if it doesn't work. Uh, just see what's going on around the world and be international, not local.
Yeah. And so do you have any regrets in your career so far? What would you have done differently?
I should have jumped into the tech sector before, I wish.
Mm.
I know that the other part is very good comfort. It's great comfort zone, and I really worked with great people in my previous life. But um, being with smart people around you is something else, and I really love to work with engineers. They have a different mindset, and I have been hearing that they're also happy to work with some social skilled people also around them. So I wish I could have jumped into the tech sector before. I wish I could get this thing before. This is only regret. Other than that, life is good. You can change so many things. It's not easy always, I know, but I don't have much regrets in my
Yeah.
career life or my personal life.
Yeah.
Thanks, God.
You learn from your mistakes, and the scars are there to improve things for the future. Anybody who hasn't made mistakes in business and innovation is a liar, I
Yes,
hate to
yes.
say. And in academia, we submit grant proposals. We work for months and weekends and nights, and then we find out 6 months later that's been rejected. Your heart and soul was in that. But there's nothing you can do. You lick your wounds, and the next time you do it better. You learn from the feedback. I think getting feedback is so important in this industry. Uh, Wrong feedback you can dismiss, but when people are actually giving you proper feedback, who are experienced and who know the market, then I think that's worth more than anything. And find a good mentor, find a good teacher, a mentor who really cares for you. Is fundamental, and typically those mentors become the person who joins the company anyway. There's the old adage that they liked the product so much that they actually bought the company. So that's an opportunity, obviously, to engage. So my final question is that sell Istanbul, and why companies should be based there, or at least come to visit.
Istanbul, Istanbul. So Istanbul, I think, is not only a city, it's a breathing creature, breathing entity with a soul character. You can feel it in every street, your neighbor, all neighborhoods. It's very complex. It's a big city. We are saying that Istanbul is five city in one city, but when you really start feeling the soul of the city, you feel like the city's energy is unmatched. It's never ending. It's 724 and has been here for decades, right? We have so many history in Istanbul, and now it becomes a center where you somehow feel comfortable. It's very It's not easy to live. I don't promote Istanbul for you to come and live all your life in Istanbul because it's becoming so hard to live in big cities, especially for people like me who are more like to focus and stay. But to visit, to spend some part of your life in Istanbul, it's great for tech providers because you will find so many amazing people from all around the world where you can share ideas, build ideas. Turkey is already, as mentioned before, become a blockchain hub. So you can find so many experts in cybersecurity and blockchain. And also, you can enjoy your time, uh, four season, day and night, anytime you want. And feeling this ancient city and also metropole, new and old together, is something that you cannot experience all around the world. And it's a beautiful city. I'm sure everybody will enjoy. You should visit at least once in your life Istanbul and
Yeah.
stay more than 2 days.
Yeah, great, excellent. So I'm so happy that there's this collaboration, this partnership between Istanbul and Edinburgh, funded through EIT Digital. So we have this training program coming up, and it's going to be covering the core areas of cryptography. Don't worry about the mathematics or so, there'll be nothing like that. It's really just to understand what is the basics of blockchain and digital trust, looking at symmetric key encryption, and then on to the amazingness of public key encryption, which makes the whole thing actually work so well. Then we'll move on to what a blockchain is and hopefully have some practical sessions where you can create your own cryptocurrency. How amazing is that? And your own NFT and how to write a smart contract. Then we'll go on to look at AI and cyber. Obviously, there is a crossover there between the usage of AI and having more privacy aware methods. So, as part of that, we'll look at some future cryptography. Homomorphic encryption is a great opportunity to encrypt data at its source and then still use it in a machine learning model. But there's also little magic wands like zero knowledge proofs and so on that we'll cover along the way. So the website is at trust4futures.com. You can register for the training course. It's 4 workshops that we'll be covering. There will be a lecture, online lectures. There will then be demonstrations and some practical sessions, and we'll have some guest speakers. And then at the end, we'll actually have this conference, which will bring together Edinburgh and Istanbul together to really discuss how we take forward deep tech skills into the future within the EU. So thank you so much for this podcast. It's been a privilege, and all the best for your great innovation work and the work that you're doing with Istanbul Blockchain Women. Thank you.